So I am meeting today with Ryan Griessmeyer, who is in charge of Race Day Events, LLC. And I just wanted to ask you a few questions about how did you get into this line of work?
I stumbled into it. I was a project manager in a construction company, pretty much racing every weekend myself. And then I got close friends that own Fleet Feet Sports and worked with them to help produce their first race. And from there it spiraled into we needed more equipment, we needed more races. People kept calling, and I was doing 30, 40 hours a week, actually 40, 50 hours a week at my construction job, adding 10, 20 hours a week at race day. And finally said when I got to be 30, 40 hours a week at both jobs, said we need to move on and start race day.
Nice. So what's a typical day on the job like for you here?
Weekdays it's just a lot of office stuff, getting staffing in order, getting permits in order, making sure the equipment and the races are scheduled properly. And then on the weekends it becomes an early morning, getting stuff ready on courses and getting all the equipment put in place and getting a race ready for people.
So would you say this is like a 7-day-a-week job for you?
For me it is, as an owner, yes, absolutely. But for me, I absolutely love it, so it's not work for me. My wife actually gets very mad at me because the first choice I have after her and the kid is I want to go to work.
Great. How many people work with you or that you oversee?
We have 10 full-time employees, going to have 11 starting next Monday. And then we have about 30 to 40 what we call weekend warriors. There'll be people with full-time jobs that will go to a race on the weekend. Sometimes they'll meet here on Saturday morning, work just 8-10 hours on Saturday, and then quit, go back to work and do it every weekend. And then there's other ones that sometimes we pack up on a Friday morning and don't come back till Monday. And we have some people that do that too.
So you talked a little bit about working in construction before this, but what other kinds of jobs did you have before this one, and how have those experiences helped you in this job?
I actually grew up in construction. My dad owned a company doing sidewalks and driveways, concrete stuff. I went to school for project management and business minor. And after college, I went to a construction company that built swimming pools up in Sauk City. And from there, I worked there for 12 years as a project coordinator, worked my way up to an estimator and then project manager. But the entire project management field, whether it's construction, people, whatever, really applies to this business as well, because it's just managing people, managing courses, managing equipment coming in and out. It's almost the exact same thing.
And what kinds of challenges do you face in this job?
The biggest challenge I always tell everybody is that time doesn't wait for anybody. When it says 7 o'clock that the race starts, the race has to start at 7 o'clock. So if you don't have stuff ready, if you're not prepared, it's a tough one to recover from. You have to always be staying ahead of it. Think on your feet, kind of improvise sometimes. There's been times we forgot the right piece of equipment. Sometimes somebody calls in sick, you're short one person. You just got to figure out ways around it and make it work.
What kind of experience or formal education would you recommend to someone looking to get into race or event management?
Definitely a project management, whether it's the project management seminars you can take or any sort of project management, whether it comes with like a computer science project management or myself, construction project management. Marketing is always a large tool that can be used. People management of any sort is good. But mostly it's project management, time management, and equipment management.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this?
I was just asked that question over lunch, actually. This is in the middle of our 10th year.
Okay.
So it started August 2006, so we're working on year 10.
Nice. So what's changed about this field since you got into it?
Competition is one for sure. Like I said, we stumbled into it. Not a lot of competition, so people just kept calling. There was no marketing, no advertising, just kind of stumbled in everything as we built it. And now we've already lost 3 employees that think they can do the same thing, start their own competing business, and run against us. So it's definitely a popular business to be in right now.
So how do you think you've adapted to those changes?
We did pretty well. It was tough to lose our first couple employees that started competing companies, but as we kind of refocused and looked at we already do things very well, to just focus on what we do well and keep it growing from there.
Okay. And what do you find most rewarding about this kind of work?
For me, it's actually seeing somebody else's day going so well, if they race well, if they really enjoyed the event. More about somebody else participating. It's the crowds that come across the finish line with a big smile, whether it's their first race, their fastest race, their 100th race. As you can see, the lady up there did 100 races, one of our events. So,
how many races have you put on over the years?
Um,
Can you come up with a number?
No, not at all. Because we're a diverse business. We had at one point close to 30 of our own events. We're down to about 20 of our own events, but we work with close to 300 events in a year.
Okay.
So we work really close with Madison Festivals, which is Taste of Madison, the Madison Marathons, and all that. It was Rhythm and Booms when they had Rhythm and Booms, but we do on any given weekend, we can have from 2 to 8 events.
Nice. And what's the most frustrating or annoying thing about what you have to do?
I think it's learning to put up with the different types of people at events or associated with events. No matter what, you can't keep everybody happy. It took me a very long time to get used to that. When you start working with your friends and your coworkers, you kind of have the same mentality. And all of a sudden somebody will send in an email that says, well, why did you use that course? It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And 30 seconds later, somebody will email and say, it's the best course I've ever seen. So the difference of people associated, especially participants, you can't make everybody happy, and it's a hard thing to handle. Get used to it first, for sure. I
can imagine. And do you have any other advice for someone looking to go into this kind of work? You already talked about project management skills. Are there any other things that you could think of would come in handy?
Specifically a business like this, I would definitely look at any sort of business stuff as well. I think that's what makes or breaks a company, or even employees, to understand the business side of things as well. It's a very difficult, it seems like a lot of fun and hard work, but there's a huge business aspect to the back end of it. And if you don't understand the marketing or even just the accounting end of it, if all those pieces don't match perfectly, it's tough. You definitely have sorry, I knew that was going to happen. Definitely have an aspect of, if one thing doesn't mesh well with the others, you're going to definitely lose out on certain portions of the business and not grow properly. So the more diverse you can make yourself, whether it's volunteering at different associations or organizations, learning accounting, learning project management, really learning to work with people, that's the best way to go about it.
Okay, and that was my last official question. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we didn't talk about?
No, just that it's the business I'm in and the rec management. I stumbled upon it, and I think I've done 3 or 4 different interviews like this. Obviously, Sam works for us. It's a fun way to go. Yeah. It's a field that every day I come to work, I'm excited to come to work. It's not a job for me. It's coming to hang out with a bunch of good people I work with, produce events for a bunch of fun people, and just kind of one big party.
Great. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you. You see these guys?
People making faces behind us.
Come back here.